Up tonight on race day, Ernie's back, but another Ford had him covered at Wilkesboro. We'll show you all the pictures. This is Kansas, Toto. The NHRA Warriors on fire with speed at Heartland Park. And a wild night at one of the legendary dirt tracks, one of the legendary outlaw events, the Williamsgrove National Open, part of race day. On Sunday, October the 1st, 1995. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Race Day on a Sunday night. I'm Rick Benjamin. A day that saw one of the great comebacks in motorsports history. A wild ASA race at Toledo. We've got a lot to show you tonight. We begin up in Wilkes County, where the Winston Cup stars ran their final short track event of the year, but the first event of the year for a driver many of us thought would never return. Ernie Irvan, out of action 13 months after his devastating crash at Michigan in August of last year, finally buckling in for a Winston Cup event. Mark Martin started outside the lead row, got the drop early on the field. There was trouble early on, too. This is Jimmy Spencer tangling with Hut Strickland and Robert Presley. Mark Martin was strong early. Dale Jarrett chased him. That was the first of only two cautions you saw. Ernie Irvan ran up front most of the day, but Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett were very strong as well. Gordon led by lap 105. Irvan showed here he hadn't lost much, grabbing the lead by halfway. Ricky Rudd tried to keep his race-winning streak alive this year. Ran out front as well before losing to loose lug nuts and watchful officials. Will have more on that. 100 laps to go now. Jarrett and Earnhardt, the drivers to contend with. Earnhardt drops a cylinder, and that drops his chances for victory. Mark Martin hung around the top five much of the afternoon. Here he moves by Dale Jarrett with less than 60 laps remaining. Jarrett's afternoon ended into the wall. Second caution period with 30 left. Jarrett slaps the concrete, and he's out of it. On the pit stop shuffle, Gordon thinks he might have made the winning move here. But NASCAR says no. They put him at the back. Rudd gets called back in to tighten loose lug nuts. That ends his chances for the day. And Mark Martin completes the trifecta after winning at Talladega's Super Speedway and the Watkins Glen Road Course. He gets his first short track victory of the year in the Jack Roush 4.
You know, after halfway, we got a little behind, and then we just started steady marching, you know, toward the front. In fact, I didn't even know I was leading when we got the lead there the last time. I ran a lap or two, and Steve said, "You're the leader." I said, "Really?" I had one problem, though. I had to keep it.
Nice second for Rusty Wallace today. Gordon gains a lot of points in the chase, finishing 6 spots ahead of Dale Earnhardt. Ernie Irvan goes the distance to finish a fine 6th. Our Speed 6 Fast Track Points update brought to you by Bennett. Gordon now the leader by 302 markers. Only 4 races to go. That means Dale Earnhardt has to gain 76 points per race to win the title. We'll have a lot more on the action at North Wilkesboro today, coming up in minutes on race day. Almost harvest time in farm country now. And the NHRA's top stars were hard at it, trying to harvest big cash in Kansas today. This year's Craftsman Nationals. You saw the finals live on TNN just a short time ago. We'll show you the final rounds in Pro Stock Bikes. John Myers continuing his domination against Gary Tomlin. Myers in the near lane wins a 754 ET, more than 175 miles an hour. Gives him a virtual lock on the season title. Pro Stock, an upset special. Jerry Ekman faces off with Steve Schmidt. Ekman looking for his first finals win in 3 years, but Schmidt pulls him at the 100-foot mark, a 707, 194 miles an hour for the Pro Stock victory. Not much changes in the points battle. Warren Johnson has the chase all but wrapped up over Jim Yates now. 2 races to go, and the point lead 217 for WJ. In funny cars, Al Hoffman and Cruz Pedregon featured in the finals. Hoffman gets the jump, but Pedregon has what he needs at the top end, cruising, you might say. 506, more than 301 miles an hour for the win. In the funny car points chase, John Force with a big lead over today's 2 finalists, 200, and make it 12 points there. Now in Top Fuel, today's marquee matchup, point leader Scott Killett near side, Mike Dunn far side. Killett set a new ET record in qualifying, looking to back it up in the final, gave it his best shot. Didn't quite make it, though, but a great 475, 295 miles an hour. The American International Airways fueler. Killett's 5th win this season nearly puts him over the top for the Winston Championship, leading Corey Mack and Dunn in the Top Fuel standings. The NHRA Tour moves on to the Texas Motorplex in 2 weeks for the Chief Auto Parts Nationals before wrapping up the year at Pomona, California. Back to stock cars, the fight for the ASA title. Moving to Ohio this afternoon, the High Bank Half Miler, Toledo Speedway. Brian Reffner trying to break Mike Eddy's stranglehold on the ASA Championship. Eddy started way back today in the 7th row, and a bit of a delay at the start. A tree went down on the racetrack. Windy day, you might say, at Toledo. And Glenn Allen Jr. fast as the wind early on, going off the pole to lead early, but his motor wasn't up to the challenge. That left veterans like Scott Hansen and Bob Seneca and Mike Eddy to battle for the lead. Just past halfway, trouble for Dennis Berry. His car catches fire. He belts the outside wall up in turn 3. Berry got out. He was okay after getting some air. Racing resumes Mike Eddy retakes the lead from the Bluebird. 67 laps left. Eddy decides to pit for fresh left side rubber. Brian Refner doesn't take tires, but does take over the lead with 59 to go. Final fast forward here. Last few laps. Eddy charges back to third with worn tires, fresh tires actually. While running third, he gets tapped by Mike Miller, takes down some of the banners up front. The point leader, Brian Refner, with his hands full with worn tires and with Mike Miller. Refner keeps it on track, noses out Miller at the line. Refner's second win of the year. He says the key to victory was his tire gamble.
We were hoping it was going to go green to the end. We ran a long time on this last set of tires just because, we knew the track position was going to be an important play here, and Mike pitted, and, he had a hard time coming back through. So it was the right decision. You never know if that's the right decision or not until the end.
So Refner moves a big step closer to the title. Mike Miller in second spot. Brad Loney third today over Jay Sauter and Bob Steneker. Point battle looks like this with just one race left at Jennerstown in a couple of weeks. Refner now with a healthy lead, 139 points over Mike Eddy. Glenn Allen Jr. in third, Steneker and Loney the top five. And by the way, Colorado's Rick Beebe has clinched the ASA's Rookie of the Year title. So congratulations to Rick. The championship battle will be settled at Jennerstown in a couple of weeks. Much more to come here tonight. Big bucks up for the dirt track late models in Georgia last night. We'll show you who cashed the major check. And the World of Outlaws run a classic, the Williamsgrove National Open. Two big checks go back home again to Indiana. We'll show you the winning move when we come back.
Race Day is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. By Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube. By Speed Stick by Menon. Like you, it never quits.
Back on Race Day, a busy week for the traveling World of Outlaws, especially for the Kinzer clan. Last Tuesday in Lincoln, Nebraska, Steve Kinzer, his 401st career A-Main win. Wednesday night, they were in Knoxville, Iowa. Mark Kinzer claimed the win. This weekend, on to Pennsylvania for the Williamsgrove National Open. Friday night, Mark Kinzer in the 5M steals the show in the preliminary program, leads wire to wire. Big pile-up behind him. Jeff Swindell, Fred Raymer, Donnie Kreitz, and Eddie Hillenberg. That's Fast Freddie Raymer out in the ballpark. His wife's going to have triplets soon. Quite a weekend. Last night, the Big Buck Finals at all Kinzer front row. Mark pulls Stevie off the green flag to the outside and down the backstretch, and that's all she wrote. Sammy Swindell ran the Super Truck show at Wilkesboro, went to the Grove, worked his way up to second blue with 7 to go. Mark Kinzer wins $25,000 in the Williamsgrove National Open last night. His third victory of the week. Dave Blaney has his point lead. Finishing second, Steve Kinzer holds on to third. Friday out west, the NARC Sprinters crowned the 1995 Golden State Challenge champion. Not a lot of drama. Brent Kading won the title just by starting the feature. Pole sitter Steve Kent of the Selma Shell 12 steals the spotlight off the drop of the green. Kent holds off Paul McMahon. His first victory in the Golden State Series this year, the 8th different winner this season. That's the most different winners in 10 years. Here's the way the point standings ended. Kading claims his 7th title. McMahon gets second by 9 over Chuck Miller. Last night they go to San Jose for the NARC Sprinters, the second annual Trophy Cup. The fans raise a $50,000 purse via a raffle. Now, Friday night NARC winner car number 11 here, used this wild move on the outside to take the lead from Greg DeCaires in the first heat. Kent wins $2,500. Second heat inverted. Let's hope for a sweep ended though here when he tumbles off of turn 4. 5 different drivers take a turn at the point before Paul McMahon in the 3-car takes over to claim the $3,000 winner's prize in the second segment. Big bucks to Kevin Pilot. A 4th and a 5th gives him high point honors on the night and nearly $9,000 in evenings in the earning column. From the open wheelers, back to stock cars. The Habitampa Dirt Late Models closing their year last night at the Dixie Speedway in Georgia, the annual Big Money Habitampa Shootout. Series champ Scott Bloomquist led from the pole early in his J&J Steel 18 car. The race plagued by several cautions. Those cautions led Arkansas traveler Bill Fry close in on Bloomquist. Restart here, lap 62 at Fry. The 66 car brings the crowd to their feet. A 3-wide outside pass for the lead. Fry never headed the rest of the way. His first shootout victory. Bloomquist holds off Blackjack Boggs in the B4 for second. Freddie Smith and Stan Massey, your top 5. Fry, I think this one paid $25,000 or so to win last night. Congratulations to Bill Fry, the winner of the Habitampa Shootout. Another major late model event today in Hagerstown, Maryland, part of the Oktoberfest 300. Davey Johnson leads all 100 laps, wins $10,000. Also at Hagerstown, get this, Billy Pouch today finished second to Doug Hoffman in the small block modifieds. Hoffman won $5 grand. The big blocks, 100 laps, Billy the Kid wins $10 grand. And then Pouch comes back to finish second in the wing sprint cars. Dan Dietrich won that one, $15,000 to win. Pouch made about $20,000 today, a first and 2 seconds. Maybe the East Coast best racer. Congratulations to Billy Pouch. Highlights next week here on Race Day. When we come back up to North Wilkesboro, more on Ernie's return, making a lot of history today. We'll hear from Ernie Irvin. And the IMSA Road Racers under the lights last night at Phoenix International. A big night for a Ferrari pilot. We'll show you some pictures when we come back. Welcome back, and welcome back to Ernie Irvan. Mark Martin won today at Wilkesboro, but the weekend's major story, Ernie Irvan winning the battle for his career. He ran 75 laps yesterday at his Super Truck, his first race start in his comeback from those devastating hurts last August. Well, today, Ernie saddled up the 88 Ford from the 7th spot. Ran up front much of the day today, even leading several laps in the first half of the event. After the race, Ernie told us here at RaceDay, no mystery at all why he's battled so hard to get back into the driver's seat once again.
Hey, it was great. You know, I had more fun. This is why I wanted to come back. Everybody asks you, why do you want to come back after trauma that you went through? And this is why. This was a ball, and had a blast.
Robert Yates crew chief Larry McReynolds telling us that Irvan answered plenty of questions today.
You know, I think he's back, and he's just picking up where he left off 13 months ago. Didn't give anybody anything. He raced everybody clean, but he raced them hard. I've seen a lot of side-by-side racing, which was certainly the question mark in everybody's mind. I think from drivers, from fans, from crews. He showed that, and this is a tough place.
And a tough day for Ricky Rudd, trying to extend his string of seasons, winning a race now at 12, hoping for 13. Rudd says he had him covered today, but for maybe too sharp-eyed NASCAR officials.
The biggest thing we had to beat today was NASCAR politics. I think it's obvious they don't want to see us win a race. 5-car finished the race last week, had 2 lug nuts on at the end of the race. We missed 1 lug nut. 5-car sitting in the gas pumps again today, had 2 lug nuts off the left front. But yet we had 1 that was loose, and NASCAR says come on in. So can't fight City Hall, so we'll try it another day.
Another day for Ricky Rudd and the rest of the Winston Cup drivers. Next Sunday at Charlotte, the series on Super Speedways, the final 4 weeks of the 95 campaign. Big-time road racing heading west this weekend. IMSA's Exxon GT and World Sports Cars under the lights in Phoenix last night. Ferman Velez in his Ferrari, and Ford-mounted James Weaver battling back and forth for the season points title. The Saturday night shootout was a night for the prancing horses. Velez had a full lap on the field at one point. Ferman Velez untouchable last night, rolling to his 3rd win of the season. Weaver held on for 2nd as Fords and Ferraris fill out the top 5. Velez and Weaver will decide the series title next week in New Orleans. Now in GT1, an Olds driver will win the title, but not till the finale. Irv Hare, the winner last night, his 3rd victory of the year. He leads Olds teammate Darren Brassfield now by 14 points. And in GT2, Bill Auberlin kept his title hopes alive with his 4th victory of the season. Points leader Jorge Trejos finished 4th. These are the Bridgestone Supercars. Sean Hendricks claiming the championship with a 3rd place finish. Shane Lewis took the win yesterday at Phoenix. There's Elliott Forbes Robinson, 73. Lewis's 2nd victory of the year. And on 2 wheels, we certainly want to congratulate Chris Carr, who won last night on the mile at Sacramento, the AMA's Dirt Track Grand National event at the Cal State Fairgrounds. Carr's 3rd win of the season. Parker clinched his title. Scott Parker clinched the season championship, though, last week at Knoxville. When we return on Race Day, we'll preview the year's biggest dirt modified race, next week's Wheels 300 at the Syracuse Fairgrounds. And also, we'll be catching you up on the rest of the week's short track action, coast to coast. We'll show you some highlights from the Goodies Dash cars at Hickory when we come back. Back on Race Day, and tons more stock car action for you tonight. NASCAR's Goodies Dash Series, I think, has really turned the corner this season. Last night, the Dash Stars in their next-to-last run of the year, tackling the very tight high banks at Hickory Motor Speedway here in North Carolina. 125 laps last night. Point leader David Hutto in the 97, tough early. Led for 28 laps early, but lost it out of turn 4 with some help from Robert Huffman. That hurt Hutto's title hopes. The spin put Huffman and Will Hobgood in command, but here on lap 108, trouble. 2 cars tangle in turn 2. That's Hobgood backwards on the racetrack. Mike Swaim Jr. in his 28th then takes over. He's another 2nd-generation star, and he took his 3rd win of the year last night. B.J. Mackey gets 2nd over Danny Bagwell. Dexter Kneip with a nice 4th spot. Will Hobgood in 7th. Caudle 7th, rather. I'm sorry, Hobgood in 6th. The Survival Instincts giving Caudle the point lead now over Hutto, who trails by 32 with 1 race to go. Next month at the new Homestead Park. These are the Southwest Tour results from last night. Orange Show Speedway in San Bernardino. You saw the winner there, point leader Lance Hooper. The ARCA Supercars last night on the high banks of Winchester, Indiana. Tim Steele in the 16 car dominated that event, leading 86 of the 150 laps. Fight for 2nd here. Frank Kimmel in the 02 challenging the leaders. They go 3 wide. He spins out of 4th. No one can match the strength of Steele, his 2nd straight win. Scott Neal over Dill Whittemore for 2nd. Bob Hill 4th. Frank Kimmel comes back for 5th. After that early whoop-de-doo and a virtual dead heat in the title chase now. Andy Hillenberg by 5 points over Bobby Bowsher. 1 race to go. That's in November, also at Atlanta. NASCAR's Featherlight Tour modifies in high gear at Stafford Springs Speedway in Connecticut this afternoon. Mike Stefanik gets his 4th victory of the season. Steve Park is 2nd, keeping his title hopes alive. Tony Hirschman finishes in 8th spot. Eddie Flimke with a nice 4th. Hirschman now 35 points over Mike Iwanitzko. Park 42 back. The modifieds race one more time. Thompson, Connecticut in 2 weeks. We'll tell you all about it right here. Now, in 1 week, the biggest race of the year for the big block dirt track modifieds. The Wheels 300 on the mile at Syracuse, New York. The total payoff, $300-some thousand. It makes the Wheels 300 one race every modified driver wants to win. Doug Logan has our preview.
In just a matter of days, the quiet and peaceful surroundings of the New York State Fairgrounds will roar to life as yet another chapter is added to the history of the richest dirt modified race in the country, the Wheels 300. Defending champion Jimmy Horton will be one of the favorites to pick up his third Wheels 300 title. But don't count out the likes of four-time winner Brett Hearn and current Mr. Dirt points leader Bob McCready, who's looking for his first Syracuse win in 10 years. McCready will be driving a new car custom-made just for this race. Back again this year will be current World of Outlaws points leader Dave Blaney, who has dominated the last two Wheels 300 races, but has failed to claim victory. He's taken a gamble for 95 by leaving the Duchess Overhead Doors race team along with crew chief Bobby Hearn and jumped behind the wheel of Billy Taylor's TO Modified. For Race Day, I'm Doug Logan.
Syracuse will have live reports from the racetrack next weekend, both the morning and evening editions of Race Day for the Wheels 300. More to come here tonight. International road racing, and we'll update you on improvements underway. One of NASCAR's first fast roads, the high banks of Rockingham, North Carolina. As we head to break, here's the week's TV schedule. Plan your viewing. We're back on Race Day in minutes. Welcome back. This guy could be our Mopar Performer of the Year, no doubt. Ernie Irvin, the consensus choice for Performer of the Week today. Started 7th, goes the distance to finish 5th at North Wilkesboro, leading for several laps in the middle portions of the show. No problems, no strain, just a smooth performance from Ernie Irvin, who really impressed his crew chief, among others.
Seeing Ernie out there leading the race, man, was that not great? And just finishing 6th on the lead lap, and he sounded like he could run 400 more laps, so I think all the questions got answered today.
Ernie Irvin, no matter what he does the rest of this year, the Mopar Performer of this or any week. Congratulations to Ernie from all of us here at Race Day. On the international road racing front, how about the Karcher BP Enduro Series? Many say it's fast becoming the world's top endurance sports car series. At Silverstone, England, changeable weather conditions had some teams picking intermediate rain tires for the start last Sunday. Andy Wallace and Olivier Grouillard used that strategy to build a big early lead in their Harrods McLaren, the yellow car here. Behind them, series point leaders John Nielsen and Thomas Bashir used a similar plan. Nielsen, who started 27th, cut through traffic on his way to second place in his West McLaren. Rains worsened. Nielsen pushed a little too hard here. He spins and gets stranded in a gravel trap, losing 3 laps. Heavy rains flooded the track, causing a lot of problems. The GT3 cars proving faster than the GT1 machines with their big power advantage. Closest to those, the Porsche of Enzo Caldari and Lillian Briner. Caldari having so much fun out front, he didn't pit. Exceeded the maximum time any one driver could be behind the wheel by 6 minutes. So officials bring him in. They hand the driver change off to keep the car on pit road for 6 minutes. They'll finish 11th. The weather breaks, the sun shines. The Harrods McLaren goes back to the front. But they too had to spend time in the penalty box. Too much. Grouillard held for excessive pit road speed. They gave a little bit of hope to the Ferrari of Alain Ferté and Olivier Thevenin, but the winners in Sweden could not keep pace with the McLaren. Wallace and Grouillard come back and take their first win in the series. Nielsen and Bisher come back for a 5th place finish. The Zanardi Portman team claimed the GT3 win, finishing 4th overall. Bisher and Nielsen hold a 25-point lead now over Ray Bellum and Mauricio Sala. 2 rounds left in France, and then the finale in China in 1995. In 3 weeks, the TNN Motorsports crew heads down the road about 90 miles to Rockingham for the AC Delco 400. Race Day's Matt Yoakum tells us the length of the race is not all that's changing.
Since 1965, the North Carolina Motor Speedway has brought action to the fans in the sandhills of North Carolina. After 30 years of limited growth, track officials have embarked on a major 2-year renovation project. Millions are going towards polishing up the rock.
As you can see, we built a new garage, a new media center, a new scoring stand, and that's just the beginning. We're also planning a new press box. We're going to join the suites you see in the background. That should be done next summer.
Also on the renovation hit list, the Busch Grand National Garage will be enlarged next summer, a new Goodyear tire building, and greeting the winter next October, a new Victory Lane. Plans also call for the front stretch pit road to be lengthened to accommodate all teams, and guardrail turns 3 and 4 will be replaced by cement walls for safety. Safety is not the only reason for expansion. Fans are #1 at Rockingham.
Well, we have improved our seating. We're going to put in seat backs on these seats to make it more comfortable for them. We've done landscaping. Within 15 years, we should have seats all the way around, more of VIP or skyboxes, and just a place people would love to come.
In Rockingham, I'm Matt Yoakum reporting for Race Day.
Looking forward to going there in a couple of weeks. We're out of time on Race Day, but before we go, I want to congratulate Mike Cope, the All-Pro Series winner, Winchester, Indiana today. And Brad Layton won the ACT Tour finale up in Plattsburgh, New York, also winning the series title. Highlights of both of those events next week. Again, we are out of time. Coming up a lot next week, it is Charlotte week for the Winston Cup and Busch Grand National Series. All the highlights for you, 11:30 Eastern, 7:30 Eastern for Race Day next Sunday. See you then.
Race Day is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. Promotional fee and consideration have been paid by Racing Radios. For all of your business and racing communications needs, as well as scanners and frequency lists, call on Racing Radios at 1-800-669-1522. By Master Van and Trucks, the official van of Richard Petty Racing, authorized converter of Chevy, Dodge, and Ford. For the nearest dealer, call 1-800-883-6101.